Security Halt podcast is proudly sponsored by Titan SARMS, Precision Wellness Group, and Pure Liberty Labs. Going through my own transition, I realized that there's so many aspects of who we are as men. We're not just a war fighter. We're not just the paratrooper deployed, the Marine that went off to war. We're complex. And I think within all of us is a storyteller. And when I find veterans are out there, there are writers that have this lived experience of like grew up in the jungles, came into the service, and after they left, they explored what it was like to become a writer and then go off becoming an entrepreneur. These stories are valuable because it shows the rest of our brothers and sisters out there. They're like, holy shit, I don't have to get out of the military and do, just one thing. I don't have to be working at the factory. I can explore all these other things because within me is greatness. I too can do something great.
Oh man, it kills me when I see guys get out and just get a fucking job at Walmart or whatever. Like, dude,
Yes.
you are like, it's like getting out of getting your PhD and then going back and working, in a fucking stocking groceries or whatever, dude. Like, you have been educated in ways that aren't really, you can't really quantify them, but you just received a fucking PhD in life,
Exactly. Yeah. So today, my man, Jason Morrison, welcome to the show. Take us on this journey, man. Where did this idea and this greatness begin?
Well, I don't really know because I'm just kind of hanging on for the ride, I have no idea. Yeah, it's like I wrote this poem called Dragon, and it's like it starts out like, we each ride a dragon. It's like riding the fucking dragon, and like it's just doing its thing, and I'm just hanging on for dear life. Part of that poem was a learning experience because at first I would like try and beat the thing into submission. It was a fight, always a fight, a battle, battling the dragon. And then in the poem I said, I just let it go one day, maybe to watch and try and kill me, I suppose. And I was awed by it and amazed by it because it's a powerful thing. Like this beast that you live in, it's fucking amazing. Like humans are amazing fucking creatures.
Yeah.
And then I saw like the beauty in it. And then I began to I began to encourage this dragon and say, push it and make it fly harder and faster. And it became like, like a love thing. And then at the end of the poem, I said, and then I knew what love is. And then I loved myself because I realized I'm the fucking dragon. Right. So, but that is funny because it took me like a year or two to write that poem because I wrote the first part, like we all ride a dragon. And then as I learned more about myself, I realized, holy shit, we do, but that's me, like there is, I can't quite, I can't speak to it in a way that like a metaphysics guy would or whatever, but I've heard people discuss this idea of self. Like, what is self? Like, who am I? Am I the idea of me? Am I my mind? Am I, like, what do you pin that to? The name is something that I call myself and others call me. The body is something I live in, but who really, like, there's more than one, more than one dimension to who you are, and sometimes you find those dimensions clashing with each other. And, I haven't cracked the code on making everything align. And I wrote about this in my book. You were an SF guy. I was a recon guy. Like, to get into those units, you got to go through a lot of shit.
Oh,
but
yeah.
really think about it. Like, how hard is it to teach someone how to work a radio? How hard is it to teach someone how to do the things that we did? Really, to clear a house and shit, you could actually teach monkeys to. It's an algorithm, right? So, so what is it that really set us apart? It wasn't what we knew about war that set us apart. It's what we learned about ourselves that set us apart.
Yeah.
Because when you're rucking and guys are falling out and quitting, and you know the next step I take, I'm just gonna feel more and worse pain.
Hmm.
And you don't even know where you're going yet. Like, it's the end is not nowhere in sight. And you take that step anyway, you and it hurts, and you know you have to take another one, and you do. That's where that's just where you start to get elite. That's what being elite feels like. Like, all the guys who never even get there, they're in the fucking supply shop for a reason, or they're standing on the gate. They're standing on the gate with all their body armor on and doing 18-month deployments for a reason. I'm sorry, man. I mean, kudos and shit to everyone who fucking, pulled the oar and everything. But bro, if you want to really discover like if you want to become elite, it's a fucking battle against that dragon, dude. It's a fucking mind game. It's understanding who you are. And the shit is same shit's true in life. And this didn't occur to me until years later. Like when you can't fucking go a step further, when you are going through a divorce or a fucking bankruptcy or PTSD or whatever it is, dude, you got two choices. You can just hate it, or you can learn about you through it.
Yeah.
And that's what elite, that's what it feels like.
Yeah. I'm so glad you went into this, man. We got to dive into this. I think so many of our guys forget that about ourselves. Like you met the best version of yourself while you were suffering. You
Yeah.
learned to suffer well. You learned to go through so much. And it's hard to explain to people because it's not just when you go through the basic, selection and your basic course. It's not your entire career. Guys have continued on and done horrible, painful shit. Done 20-mile rucks with discs that are bulging out of their fucking
Yeah.
necks.
Yep.
Continue to be on free fall status when that disc is literally pushing itself like all the way out and just a little bit longer and you're fucking paralyzed. But they don't give a fuck. They eat the pain. They eat that. And yes, there's something to be said about making sure you take care of yourself, but you learn to suffer well. And so many people forget that they have that capacity. You can go through so much, not just physical pain, but mental pain. You can go through a lot. And it's something that you shouldn't forget. It's a great thing to have on the outside. It gives you perspective. People pay thousands of dollars to have elite coaches kick them in their fucking beanbags all day in these man camps. You don't need that.
Yeah.
you,
You know
you
what?
have
Yeah,
that.
exactly. You've already learned what that yields. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the key to it is getting out, transitioning, not losing the perspective, and then continuing to expand on that with the mental toughness, the resilience, the grit. Physical body is easy to train. You can coach anybody to be strong and endure things, but the mental game, like how do you remind guys like, hey, you're going to get out of the military, you're going to get turned down. People are going to say no. Your resume is going to get submitted 500 fucking times and people are going to say 520 no's to you. Keep fucking going. Find your way. How did you find your way? And we're talking about when you went through your process, we didn't have LinkedIn. We didn't have these networking, coaching, and resource. We didn't have this resource rich environment where veterans could just walk into a class and have the mentorship and have a friendly face to walk them through the process. How did you make your way through after your
Oh
career?
man. Um, so after I got out, I became a contractor for a while, for about 8 years, and I was working for different, government organizations doing it. But after a while, man, I'm like, like this is kind of lame, dude, because I'm seeing all the operators, the guys that used to be me going out on kinetic missions and shit. I'm guarding nerds, like, oh, I'm making a lot of money. I look cool. I look like them, but I'm not. You know what I mean? I do the deal.
This episode is brought to you by Titan SARMS. Head on over to titansarms.com and buy a stack today. Use my code CDenny10 to get your first stack. I recommend the Lean Stack 2. Start living your best life. Titan SARMS. No junk, no bullshit, just results.
Sorry, contractors, but dude, you ain't a fucking tier 1 guy. You are a fucking nerd herder.
Yeah.
Your job is to protect fucking nerds. And, you know, there are other guys, there are actually I am very few fucking contractors that do kinetic shit. And that's a cool fucking gig. It pissed me off. I actually tried to go take the long walk after several years of
No shit.
as a contractor. Yeah, because I was like, dude, if I'm gonna do this, I want to fucking do it, not just sit around and fucking watch. No, don't get me wrong. I got a fuckload of gunfights and shit as a contractor in early days in Iraq, like a lot, way more than I did in the military. But I wanted to fucking, you know, if I'm gonna do this, let's do it right. And unfortunately, I couldn't do it because I had saddled myself with so much shit. You know, the contracting gigs, you make good money. I had a big fucking house and I had a bunch of shit, and they wanted me to deploy with a ODB. Because I signed up with 20th SF Group, and as you know, to get my foot in the door into the Army, so I could do the transition. And they're like, so I talked to the recruiters, did the initial screening. They're like, you need to deploy because you've been deployed as a contractor for the last 5 or 6 years. We need to like see you in fucking in battle, you know, something of an operational fucking, which I totally get. I couldn't do it because I couldn't separate myself from the fucking money, from paying the house payments and all this other shit. So I fucked me. But anyway, I'm just saying that I'm not saying I would have made it. I just, you know, I wanted to take a crack at it. But I'm just saying that because like I felt driven to do something greater than what I was doing right then.
Yeah.
After I couldn't do that, I kind of shifted focus toward all right, well, I'll try the business thing. So I ended up getting my degree online from some EIEIO online or some bullshit. Dude, fucking, you know, it worked. It fucking, so I'm doing
like University.
Yeah. It's a degree, but it opened a lot of doors.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a TSSCI, you know, and a
yeah.
degree. So that got me into, you remember Jido?
Yes.
So, yeah, I had a buddy. I'll say one thing. What really helped me most, because like you said, they didn't have LinkedIn and all this other shit back then. What helped me most was my network of friends from the special operations community, dude. And that's one thing, dude, we take for granted. Coming out of especially special operations. I know, you know, the military in general, like that's a free gift that you get is the relationships that you've made while you're in. And dude, you get out and maybe you don't have all the shit that the other people that didn't join, that went to college and did all this shit in the 4 years or 8 years or 16 years you were gone. Maybe you don't have what they have, but you have something far greater. You have some solid motherfuckers
that
you can lean on. And dude, that's what, to be honest, if I hadn't had that in my life, I'd be fucking dead in the gutter somewhere. So one of my buddies, he worked for COIC. He actually ran the COIC forward in Afghanistan, and he fucking smoothed my resume and got me a job in DC. So, and dude, it was hilarious because I showed up. I'd been like standing around with body armor and a gun for the last 8 years, and I had a degree and I'm a pretty smart guy, but he goes, okay, do you know anything about networks? I'm like, no. He's like, well, go on Wikipedia and look up networks. So this is no shit. No, dude, show up.
Wikipedia was legit.
Yeah. So I show up to COIC, and I thought I was going to be like a special operations, like liaison type, you know, interpreting like what the special operations guy needs to the analyst, whatever. No, dude, they put me in charge of all the data systems for U.S. special operations, like USASOC and Warcom, and I had all these people I'm managing and all this data and the data network and shit. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, dude.
I
But dude,
want to
that's
highlight
another.
this moment right here because I have heard this similar stories from so many guys that they got that first opportunity out of the military and it was way out of their league. They were punching way out of their league, but they figured it the fuck out.
Yep.
Figured it the fuck out. And I'm telling you, if you're listening and you work on your network, rely on your friends, the people they know, and if you get an opportunity, don't get scared. Trust in yourself.
Yeah.
Understand that you figured out how to do shit your entire career. You'll figure this shit out.
I
Don't kick
totally agree with you,
something
dude.
out of the way just because you're intimidated at first. Fuck the stories I've heard, and this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude, it was
Oh,
fucking insane. Like, got my bosses and stuff, they're onboarding me and they're talking to me about you know, oh, this data does this and this is data fusion and it's fused to this node and I'm like, what in the fuck? I didn't understand a word they were saying. Dude,
you're like, yes,
I was like,
yes.
I hope to God they don't fire me because I'm just, but I was drinking from the fire hose and I fucking pulled it off, or they just that were merciful to me for long enough for me to learn that shit. Dude, and then um I ended up, because I was a special operations type, being able to like tune their stuff to better meet the needs of special operators. So I actually, within 8 months, I revamped all the data sharing. The tier one guys they share information data and all this shit. But the fucking vanilla soft guys, they don't do shit. Like, I was talking to like uh SF guys, they're like, "Oh yeah, all of our fucking data from, I mean, you got SODAR's reports, who no one ever fucking reads those, right?
Yep.
They're just like fucking SharePoint drive somewhere. No one ever fucking opens those fucking things up again.
It's in
Like
the
it
iDrive, bedside,
yeah, I'm
somewhere.
like, I'm talking to these Intel guys. I'm like, where are all the fucking reports and shit that you guys wrote up and stuff while you're deployed? Oh, they're in a Foot Locker in the fucking Intel shop. Like, bro, okay, let's fucking unfuck this, because back then that was during the VSO days, right? And
Yes.
you had ODAs who were ripping out fucking MARSOC guys and SEAL platoons coming in and ripping those guys out. And so you had a what like a 2-week rip TOA, maybe,
Yep. If you're
probably only
lucky.
a few days. Yeah. And so you don't know what happened, all the fucking minutia of what went on during that time for the last guys that were there, or the guys before that, especially. And all the reports you sent up to like battalion, they scrub all the shit that's important for the other teams out, because they just, if you read something at the battalion level, it's only relevant to another battalion commander. It's not relevant to a fucking ODA somewhere else. You know what I mean? So I was like trying to make all that shareable across everyone. I don't know if
Fuck
they were
yeah.
fucking did it, but it became a program record at SOCOM. Like, Admiral McCraven signed a fucking letter saying, "Hey, make Jason's thing real." So I learned the shit, you know, and I was able to make a fucking impact. I hope doing that. But you're absolutely right, man. Like, I hope to God for you guys out there that like are getting into business or entrepreneurship in some way, whether or not you're running your own business or just getting a job in the corporate world, or, and don't boohoo it and say, "Oh, I hated this job." I fucking loved it. Actually, I thought I was gonna hate it. I fucking loved it. It's business is war, baby. You're not stacking bodies, you're stacking dollar bills, and if you can take the fucking dollar bills from the next guy, fucking A, man. I mean, it's battle. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I think if you are scared and like, holy shit, I'm way underwater here, that's exactly the right place you need to be. You're a fucking,
Yes, dude.
especially as a special ops guy, like, fucking congratulations, welcome to the fucking show. Start swimming, brother. You're like,
Yeah.
this is right where you need to be.
I
Like,
say all the fucking time, all the time. If it's if it's slow, easygoing, and it's comfortable, you're gonna fucking hate it. You're gonna
dude, you're in the
absolutely
wrong spot,
fucking
dude.
hate it.
Yep. Think about this, man. Like, I talk to guys and they're like, dude, like, and they'll be, guys that are kicking ass in business, or even in the, in the military or whatever. Like, how are you doing? Like, oh man, I'm doing it, but I'm fucking barely keeping my lips above the water,
This episode is also brought to you by Precision Wellness Group. Getting your hormones optimized shouldn't be a difficult task, and Dr. Taylor Bosley has changed the game. Head on over to precisionwellnessgroup.com, enroll, and become a patient today.
Dude, that right there, that is the best you'll ever be. If you are barely fucking keeping your lips above the water, you are fucking killing it. You don't see, you don't see Tom Brady sitting around eating fucking donuts and playing PS5 all day with right before, he's probably out there busting his ass, working out, fucking thinking about shit, fucking at
Yeah,
the best in your game, that's what you're gonna feel like. That's what elite feels like. It feels like you're barely making it. Why? Because you're using every fucking faculty that you have at your disposal. You firing all of your guns at once and explode into space, right? Born to be wild. Like that's what you're doing. And you're exhausting every fucking thing. Everything's on full afterburner. That's why you feel fucking tired. That's why you feel exhausted. That's what kicking ass feels like. So
yeah,
good job. Keep fucking going. Now
yeah,
you can burn out and shit from that. But dude, fucking that's the feeling of becoming like not just becoming better, but like transcending,
yeah,
becoming a different person. You don't your greatest obstacles in life, you don't fucking struggle over top of them.
yeah,
You grow over them. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like what like years later you'll trip over something and be like, "What the fuck was that?" "Oh, that's that thing that used to kick my ass all the time years ago, and now I don't even know it's there because I've transcended that. It's not the same person. I'm not playing on the same level. I'm playing way levels up here now."
That is
So
so
that's what
true,
you
man.
want. You don't get there unless it's fucking painful, man.
Yeah. And like one thing that I always talk about, and it's just, you don't know this world. So it's okay to have the beginner's mind. Don't get frustrated when you don't have the immediate answer, or you're not finding the right thing. Like, dude, fall in love with the process, dig through, research, figure it out. Whatever industry you're trying to break into, whatever you're doing, fall in love with the ugly stuff, fall in love with the hard stuff. And then when you look back in a few months, you're gonna realize all that stupid shit you didn't like doing, you're actually like getting really good at it. And now you're
Yeah.
fucking cruising.
Yep. Well, dude, and think about this too, like, especially if you're doing something novel
Yeah.
where like not few people have ever done that kind of thing before. You aren't going to be able to get help because no one's ever fucking done it before,
Yeah.
right? If you're out swimming in those waters and you're calling for help, don't expect anyone to fucking show up because no one else, if they knew how to do it, they'd be doing it.
Yeah.
You're the guy, right? So you're the pioneer. You're out there beyond what other people can. You're doing what most others won't, aren't willing to do or can't do. So expect not to have very many people around to tell you how to do it.
Yeah. That's the truth, man. Like, another thing a lot of guys don't realize is at some point, for some individuals, they're gonna pivot. They're gonna get that job right off. They're gonna love it. They're gonna do great, or maybe they hate it and they learn to love it. And then it comes that itch, that feeling of wanting to pivot into something else. When did that happen for you?
Man, well, the first time I did that, so I was working at Coic, and then my big idea kicked off. And I learned so much from that time, just in the corporate space and in working with DoD and all that stuff on the gov side. And then I ended up, I because of that, I was like the only special operations guy in the whole DC area that also knew a lot about big data and advanced analytics. so, so I got a job. Well, the Combating Terrorism Technical Support Office. They're called something else now, but fucking goofy ass name. But have you ever heard of Palantir? Did you guys?
Oh, fuck yeah, bro.
So I'm the guy that fucking fielded Palantir to you guys.
Oh,
And
no shit.
they tried to hire me, and I was like, no, fucking, I want to be an independent consultant. And
Oh,
they're like,
man.
well, I don't know about that because it was Mantech, and they're like, no, they don't like doing that. It's like, good luck
Dude,
trying to find someone else. So sure enough, they called me there. I was like, okay. So they hired me as an independent consultant, and that was my job, is to field Palantir to fucking
no
SF
shit.
and to throughout, the different TSOCs
Shout
and
out
the
to my
Marine Corps.
boy Ricky, who was our Palantir rep, because I ended up, a lot of people hated it. A lot of people didn't want to use it, and it had so many different, I gotta be careful what I can and can't talk about.
Yeah,
It
well,
was
it's a huge, it's a loaded issue, man. It still is. I thought by now everyone would be over it, but no, and I
yeah,
understand why. I mean,
yeah,
you don't want it anyway. But it was a tool, and it helped us kill
yeah.
a lot of people, and thank God for it.
I loved
And
it. I loved the integration. I loved it. I was, being a warrant officer on the team, you're the systems guy, you're the computer nerd. And I absolutely saw it as an asset, and learning everything about it and getting to me, it was a insanely valuable piece of tech. And yeah,
but you know what it did when I thought about it later, it was a good piece of gear, but what it did is it made us fight the war differently. And
yeah,
that it was a catalyst to again, transcendent catalyst. It made us
yeah,
do not do shit better, but not approach the problem in a way to solve it better, but approach the problem in a way to solve it differently.
yeah,
And right? Because it made, like, before, I remember when I was in Force Recon, the intel guy was like, he was waiting for us to get back, you know, to learn from us. I mean, we were fucking Force Recon. That was our fucking job, right? It wasn't like we weren't getting fed a lot. Most of it
yeah,
was like, what do you have to tell me? Well, with Palantir and shit like that, it made it like a driving force, a forcing function of combat. Like, so it was, the Israelis call it intelligence driven combat. So all your operations are for the sake of finding more intelligence to drive more operations, to find more intelligence to drive, and it becomes the ops and intel thing that are way over here become a fucking loop. It's one thing now,
yeah.
right? And so your ops
F3AD.
are yep, your ops are for the sake of driving the intel's for the sake of driving the ops. And dude, the Marine Corps, it changed the Marine Corps a lot. When I was doing that CTTSO gig, I actually helped at headquarters Marine Corps Intel. I don't know if they ever did it, but they were talking about a new operational concept based on that, to Intel driving ops. Because usually the Intel guy is in the back just waiting for the op to be over to interview people. But this way he's like pushing targets on
Yeah.
people.
Yep. That's
So
exactly it. That's exactly fucking it, man. It's like a hidden figures expose on GWAT.
yeah, right.
Oh man, this is great because, like, who knows what the next big thing is, and we have to understand that the ingenuity and the creative sparks could be coming from our GWAT vets. The guys are out there, or guys and gals that are transitioning now. Like, you never know what your experience could get you involved with in your next chapter, man. Like,
That's true. Well, dude, even during, back to Palantir really quick, because it is exactly on the point of what you're saying. The reason why Palantir was so successful isn't because of the nerds out back there coding it. It was partially because of that, but it was because the fucking guys that they sent out to the field, their field service reps, were sitting
yeah,
right next to the fucking, um, the fucking operators, and the operators were like, "Why won't it do this? Why won't this thing pound in a nail?" And so they would tell the guys back in Palo Alto, "Make it pound in a nail," and so they did. Because, dude, the best inventors, the greatest fucking inventors are the guys that break your invention.
yeah,
And you give something like that to a Marine or a fucking SF guy or a SEAL, he's gonna fucking try and break it. You know what I mean? He's gonna
yeah,
push it beyond what it was made to do. And your job, and dude, especially if you guys are in the innovative space, the tech space, whatever, listen to the fucking end user. They're the greatest inventor. They will make or break your company. And if you don't listen to them, if you tell them, well, you're using it wrong, bullshit. If they bitch about it, that's called a requirement, motherfucker.
yeah,
Build that into your shit. So that's why Palantir was successful, because they listened, and they had guys working around the clock, updating and upgrading their system with everything that the guys at the pointy end were bitching about. So and that applies to everything in business. If you're selling fucking tacos and you're not listening to your people eating your tacos about what's wrong with them, then you're missing out on the best inventors. Your greatest asset as a business owner or in most cases as a business guy are the people that use your product. And if you aren't tapped into them, um, the engineers are good at some things, but engineers aren't really good at practical application of stuff. You need
Exactly.
to listen to the people that are breaking it.
This episode is brought to you by Pure Liberty Labs. Quality supplements designed to elevate your health and performance. Check out their full line of quality supplements, whether you're looking for whey protein, pre-workout, creatine, or a super greens drink. Pure Liberty Labs has you covered. Use my code SecurityHalt10 at checkout today. Yeah, they're also not good at dealing with humans.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, and that's something that I've noticed too is these big defense tech companies, they're onto something. They're understanding that if their end user is SOCOM, like they're gonna hire a lot of guys are getting out from the teams, whether it's SEAL teams, Rangers, SF, Force Recon, MARSOC, they're going after you guys. Like one of the biggest things I want you to know, if you're out there and you're listening, you're a CCT, a JTAC, a TAC-P, an 18 Echo, a comms guy, holy shit. You've got it made in the fucking shade. Don't ever tell yourself you're not going to be successful, because the most paid individuals in my friends group, the dudes that are bringing in the most amount of money, are the commo guys, the guys
Dude,
that
it's
are
all comms,
communicators.
man. Yep.
I'm
Because
not going to
the next level? What's the next thing in combat right now? Like,
yeah,
look at
drones.
Ukraine. It's autonomous systems,
Yeah.
and they all have to talk to each other.
Yes. And the
They
money
have
is
to talk.
stupid.
Yeah. Like, and you can take that and you can apply it. I mean, especially if, like you said, the guys that are used to dealing with airplanes and stuff, it's the same
Yeah.
thing. It's just tiny little ones. And, and you have, my business partner and I, on something I'm doing now, he's been over in Ukraine almost nonstop since the whole thing started
Shit.
and been helping out with a lot of the drone stuff. So, like, we've been learning, and I think DoD is missing it big time because, yeah, you can sit back and listen. For instance, in the deal with Ukraine, you can sit back and listen to what the Ministry of Defense is telling you, but unless you're out there on the pointy end, you aren't going to understand the nuance of how to use these systems and what works best and what doesn't. Like, you know, it doesn't work during a full moon if you're eating tacos. Like, some shit like that is, you don't get that unless you're there. Like I said again, like I said with Palantir, unless you're sitting next to the guys doing the dirty work. So, I think it was, we've been kind of screaming about this, as far as like what's required to make the next generation of, next generation warfare work. And a lot of people, I'm kind of concerned because we're leaning really heavily on our F-22s and stuff when, sorry, pal, it ain't gonna do shit when you're up against 10,000 fucking drones,
The drone swarm. Yeah.
And not only that, but they're hooked in with robot dogs with turrets on them. Like, holy shit, dude. And all the sensors on the battlefield, like, that's where it's going. And there are a few tough things, there are a lot of tough things to get there, and that's where you guys that have done this stuff, um, are gonna be the ones to help solve those problems. But
Exactly.
we gotta get there. The Chinese are way ahead of us on this, man.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's I have hope, but man, holy shit. They are they're a whole different they're a whole different level.
Thank God their stuff is made from shitty parts, like, but at least a couple of those goddamn things are gonna not break.
Few of their weapon systems will work. Not all of them, but a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a brave new world, man. It's insane. I had a gentleman on the show. We had to stop the podcast because he was he went over, volunteered, young man, and bless his heart, man. When you miss out on the GWAT experience, and I've talked to so many young men, they're like, I missed out. I enlisted, never deployed. Sent a lot of people into Ukraine as volunteers, and what he was describing, the day-to-day combat and dealing with drone warfare, and it got to the point where it was just like reliving the trauma, and I'm like, all right, dude, like, take a moment, let's pause, let's not continue, because right now you're you're back home, but you're still there.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's like, I haven't aired few episodes I haven't aired when I started this, just because of just bad dialogue. I didn't have, growing pains. That one did not air because that's somebody that was actively going through it. And it was just like, dude, and at the end of it, it's like, yeah, I got to go back. No, I owe it to my friends are still there. I'm like, fuck, dude, like,
Wow.
bless your
Yeah,
heart,
dude,
dude.
that's a whole another game, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's
It's
the scary part is, like, whatever side wins in a, like, autonomous warfare type scenario, well, guess what's gonna happen next? It's gonna be people versus drones, because
yeah.
once all the drones get wiped out on one side, you still gotta deal with them, you
Yeah.
know? It's gonna be ugly, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I never thought in a million years Call of Duty Modern Warfare would become a real life situation.
Shit.
I was just explaining to my wife, like, the whole concept of, like, yeah, we're literally playing a video game where you could use drones to fucking, on your kill streak, and now it's a real fucking thing. Now we've got VR mounts for your helmets. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like,
Well,
nope.
dude, it's gonna be get even gnarlier than that, because, like, one of the things that we've been trying to do, the company that, my, business partner and I started, it's called LCDM Tech, low cost, disruptive, multi-use technology. One of the things that we were working on there is, like, when you think drone swarms, you think, oh, 1,000 drones of the same type. That's fucking stupid. Like, look at an infantry battalion. Everyone's not the same MOS, right?
Yeah.
People have different jobs, different specialties, different capabilities. So you need, like, stacks of different types of drones. And the idea is that when you send them out, you send them out in ways that systematically destroy the enemy's ability to resist the drones. And then, like, you take out their electronic warfare first. So that takes a certain type of drone. And you take out their anti-aircraft so they quit shooting, they can't shoot down any more drones. Or you just send so many drones over there that they expend all their fucking anti-aircraft munitions.
Hmm.
You take out the anti-aircraft batteries. And then you take out, the radars, you take out the command centers, and then you start taking out artillery, and then you take out the tanks, and then you'd go after the grunts, the
Yeah.
infantry guys. So it's a dismantlement of the order of battle, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so in order to do that, you need different shit with different capabilities. And back to the tech side of building this, like, all you comms guys out there and all you tech nerds, this is doing that is hard to do. You need a lot of different types of drones talking to each other, AI in the loop. Like, if one drone sees a fucking uh electronic warfare jammer, then it needs to tell the other drones, and the other drones can prosecute the target. So you're building in battle, like I said before when I was talking about CQB. I mean, it's an algorithm: open door left, closed door right, long hallway. That's an algorithm. If then, that's a fucking algorithm.
Yeah.
What am I going to do then? Well, the thing about drones, they don't have to stop and go, oh, okay, let's see, what do I stack two guys? No, a drone, it's math, right? So you've taken the fucking human failure problem out of that algorithm. It's just instantaneous. Wham, 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 wham. Anyway, it's pretty insane shit. But anyway,
Dude, how do
back to
you,
what we were.
yeah.
Um,
How did you find yourself pivoting into that?
um, my buddy, again, he was talking to a friend of mine who I'd worked with in DC, and he's like, "Oh, you need to talk to Jason Morrison." And so this guy called me out of the blue, and we just kind of hit it off talking about, this was like a few days before the invasion, before the Russia invaded Ukraine. And we were talking about tech stuff because I've become kind of a nerd since all my stuff in the government. And
Forced to be a nerd.
yeah, that's right. It's fun, dude. So you can kill a lot of people being a nerd.
Yeah. That's the reality where we're at, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we
So
can be a
yeah, he
meteor all you want, but the reality is you whether you want it or not, if you want to stay in the game, you're gonna be forced to become a nerd.
that's right. But it's important to have guys that have that, battlefield context
Yeah.
to lend to the nerd side of things. So becoming dual hatted like that is fucking critical. Um so yeah, it was just through my friends and we ended up he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Ukraine." He called me a few days later and I said, "Okay, well, I'll backstop you. If you need anything back in the States, let me know." So I was doing all his like he'd send me some shit in the middle of the night. "Hey, I need a fucking shit like the fucking non-disclosure agreement or fucking, all right, I need you to draft up a document for the Ukrainian MOD." And so I was just sitting around on my fucking computer, fucking backstopping them and making phone calls and setting shit up. And so it's just kind of gone on since then. So we're doing some pretty cool shit now. I can't really get into it, but hopefully I'll update you one of these days and, we'll all be fucking multimillionaires and have won the war. But, that's pretty cool
Fingers
shit.
crossed.
But you mentioned this before I got into this stuff. I had a good 10-year run of just, like, famine, bro, like
No shit.
yeah. So, and you're
The
talking about
lean
pivoting.
times.
See, the pivots don't always come when you expect them. So, I, um I ended up my security clearance got suspended over some goofy shit, just temporarily, and, I couldn't go into work, so I ended up losing my job. The nice the hard thing about having a niche job like that is there's probably only 1 or 2 jobs like that, right?
Yeah.
So, it was really hard, especially without a security clearance, hard to find, um, work and this and that, and I'm sitting around, I'm like, "Shit," all of a sudden the rug got yanked out from under me. I'd just gone through I was in the middle of a really harsh divorce,
Oh, man.
lost my job. I had nothing. I couldn't even get a job. It was like a waiter or anything because they're like, "You made 350K last year. Like, we're not gonna hire you as a waiter. You're just gonna go do this shit again. You're just gonna go back and um, you're
Yeah.
overqualified."
The moment I can, I will be leaving this
Yeah, you're
shithole
damn
job.
right. But it never fucking happened. But dude, I had nothing, and I'm like, "What the fuck do I do?" I'm not even at square one right now. I'm at square zero. Like I have nothing. And it was a tough place to be. It was hard coming to grips with that as a reality in life. And then I realized something that set me free, man. And so if you're ever at that spot where you feel like you're at square zero, think about it. Think about it this way. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm at square zero, so I can start doing right now whatever the fuck I want to do in this life. Like holy shit. So what do I really want? And that is one of the hardest questions in life, man. Everyone, you tend to believe that the hardest question in life is how do I get what I want? But that's not the hardest question. The hardest question is what do I really want? Like what do I really want? And I thought about it for a while and I thought, you know what? And I was the thing I wanted most. It was difficult to want because I knew there was such a high risk of failure and everyone would make fun of me and this and that and the other. And that's when I decided to become a writer.
Yeah.
And so I went on social media that night and I told everyone, "Hey, I'm a writer now." I hadn't written a fucking word because I wanted to own it.
Yeah.
I hadn't written a goddamn word, but I was a writer. Dude,
LinkedIn
written
status update,
yeah,
writer.
that's right.
Oh,
Written 2
fuck.
books since then. Um, and yeah, no, I'm not a fucking, multi-bazillionaire or anything like that. Dude, I'm doing what I want to do
Yeah.
in life.
Dude, that takes balls. Like, let's run it back for a little bit on the like. You're right. When you're ground zero, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can become a podcaster. You figure it the fuck out. That's that's the route I chose.
I would
It
have
was
never chosen to be a writer. I would have never quit my job, you know?
yeah.
I would have never quit my job and said, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna make $0 a year writing." Dude, if you want to be just like anything else, you don't just start off cranking out a bestseller. Everyone wants to
Yeah.
do that. But you gotta start at zero.
Yep.
So I would have never I would never become a writer if I would have never done the thing I wanted to do most in life if I hadn't have had no other choice, really. So sometimes, your pivots are like that. They're kind of forced on you. But if you are in a position like that where you're like, man, I'm really out of options here. It's your perfect fucking opportunity, man.
Yeah. So what was the first book and how did you start that process?
The first book was this one here. It's called The Perfect Fucking Life. And there's a lot of satire in that fucking title.
Oh man.
So that one I had, I thought, okay, I'm gonna write fiction, I'm gonna write stories. And Ernest Hemingway is a big fucking, idol of mine and this and that. And um but I was going through so much heavy shit, I just started writing down little things here and there of the shit I was going through and the things that would occur to me, not this moany drony fucking woe is me crap. I hate that shit. But the stuff like, I remember one of the first things I wrote was, and kind of along these lines is, dream big. You would if your dreams were visions of your future. Well, they are, and that to me back then was like, holy shit, that's fucking cool. That thought occurred to me. Like, I'm going to write that down. And, because it helped me, work through what I was going through. And not on top of all, how PTSD works. It doesn't strike the day you get off deployment. It waits until
Yeah.
you're fucking super vulnerable. So I was dealing with PTSD. I was dealing with the divorce. I was dealing with financial shit. Everything was like all happened all at once. And, and on top of that, a lot of people that I told, "Hey, I'm a writer now," I got the fucking eye rolls. I got, "What the I mean, really most of the people, even close friends and shit, um, because they just didn't expect it. I don't blame them or anything. It's to be expected, and that's to be expected. If you decide to do something great, expect people to be fucking like, "Oh, really? Okay," because you've never done it before, and they've never seen you. Maybe they don't even know. Like a lot of people didn't even know I wanted to be a writer. You know what I mean? So they're like, "What in the fuck is Jason up to?" I got a lot of that shit. And I got people that are like worried about me and shit like that. Hey,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
just comes with the territory. And if people aren't doing that, then it's probably not the right thing, man. You're aiming too low. Aim high, baby. Make them roll
Yeah.
their fucking eyes.
Had a few of those messages.
Yeah, man. You know how it goes. So,
Bro, you have a face for radio. I don't think it's gonna work for you. Thanks.
yeah, that's, you're in the right spot if you're getting that shit.
Yeah.
So,
People don't understand your drive, they don't understand your dream, and they don't understand the importance that or the lessons that we learned in doing hard shit. Like the impossible seems possible. Everything that we've been through teaches us like, okay, A, if they can do it, why not me? And B, like, okay, if somebody else has done this before, then there's a coachable methodology out there that I can follow to be successful in this. If somebody else has done it, there's a blueprint, there's
yep.
a guide on how to fucking do this. It's not impossible. And that's something that I realized that strongly I constantly do it. I would tell you, I will look at a problem and say, be like, all right, fuck it, I can do it. I jump into it and I realize, fuck, this is a lot, it's a lot harder than I thought. But I mean, fuck, I mean, if that guy can do it, I can do it. I'm not telling you it's not going to suck. I'm just saying that, like, jump in, go ahead first. Other people may be risk adverse, but like, did you find it that it was a lot easier to jump in straight and just start going and start swimming?
Yeah, man, because, well, a lot of it was because I went out and fucking fucked myself over by telling everyone I was a writer. And so people like, okay, well, what are you writing then? You know? And so they wanted to see something. So I was kind of holding myself accountable to that. And that was that was probably the best thing I could have done for myself. But one of my and I didn't have anywhere to live. I had nothing. So one of my buddies, actually the same guy that got me the job at the COIC, he's actually my best friend. We were roommates as Lance Corporals,
Fuck yeah.
So we're still best buddies, man. He was in Africa.
Nice.
Yeah, he was in Africa at the time, and he's like, "Dude, I got this big villa." He was running ISR operations over there for a while. At the time, he was managing director of a aviation nonprofit in Entebbe.
Damn.
And, he's like, "I got this villa on Lake Victoria. Why don't you come here and just write?" I'm like, well, dude, at first I was like, "I can't do that. I got bills to pay and this and that." And then I was like, after a day or two, I was like, "I wanna stay here so I can pay bills." Like, if I didn't live here, I wouldn't have the fucking bills. You know what I mean? So I'm like, "Okay, I'll fucking do it." And that really got the people worried about me and eye rolls and shit like that. "Jake, we going to Africa? What the fuck?" But dude, it was
Dude.
awesome. It was a leap of faith, but it was so good for me. And so,
Bro, how
yeah,
long did that journey last? How long were you out there?
I was only out there for 2 months because, I ended up getting a gig in New York City through the SEAL Future Foundation. I'd forgotten that I'd even applied for this internship deal, like, months before. Yeah, and they called me and they're like, "Hey," when I was in Africa, I'd been there for about a month. They're like, "Hey, man, you're a candidate for this. Do you wanna come to New York and interview?" I'm like, "I'm in Entebbe, Africa, dude, like, Uganda. Are you able to fly me?" Because they were gonna fly me from DC. I'm like, "Will you fly me from here?" And they're like, "We gotta get back to you on that one." But they did, dude. They flew
Damn.
me out there, and, it was a great experience. I ended up, getting that's a long story too. I ended up getting a direct hire position out of that interview, um, because they hired an intern. That's a cool program too. I don't know if it's still going, but it's through, again, the SEAL Future Foundation. It's special operations only. But they do an interview, I think it's once a year, maybe it's a quarter. I think it's only once a year. But they interview a pool of special operations guys, and you're in the mahogany boardroom with leather chairs and everything talking to there must have been like 12 CEOs in there. And it's no joke, but they'll hire you and put you in one of their agencies for 3 months at a time for a year, and then place you if you do well, they'll place you after that. It's a good program. But, yeah, so I ended up going to New York and working there. It was about a year that I did that gig. Well, not quite a year, but, that was really transformative too because I was still going through all the same shit, but now I'm in New York City, dude. And so, like, the energy and stuff coming off of that, um, I did a lot of writing there. It was very and in fact, you asked me what, brought about the first book. I It had been a year since I had told everyone I'm gonna be a writer. It was April, I think it was 2016 or something. Oh, that's not it, but, um, so it had been a year and I'm beating myself up like, "I haven't even written shit yet, what the hell?" Because I wanted to write a, a novel or something. And then I was like, "You dumbass, you got 15 notebooks full of stuff under your desk." So I started going through the notebooks and, like, compiling all these little bits of stuff that I'd written. Some of it's just short stories about combat and stuff, like, it's all wacko random shit. Some shit's like, "Hey, what the fuck, God?" Like, questions you have in your mind when you're at war and you might die,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Okay, is there" you start thinking about that type of stuff. Well, is is God real? Is he legit? If so, why is all this bullshit going on? Why are people killing each other in his name? This kind of shit that you think about, the type of stuff you talk about in the team room.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things that come out of that, a lot of 'em most of those conversations go with the unanswered questions. And so I started, like, asking myself the really hard questions, about stuff like that. So anyway, a year's worth of that kind of content, and I didn't even it took me several years actually to compile it to I knew I had the idea, but it took me a while to compile it and then put it into a books. Um, and then and that's when I was going through some fucking man, I was in the desert, bro. Like that lasted a long fucking time. But and then I for a couple years I didn't write a word. Uh, and then for some reason I just always come back to writing. And so I started writing. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to write. That's for me, that as a writer, that's the hardest problem. Like, what the hell do I write? And every time I'd sit down and talk to someone and tell them my story or whatever, just bullshitting with people. I remember one time, it's actually in the forward of this book. I was in Canada and I was at this drug dealer's house, and and one of the drug dealer's like henchmen. He was like 6'8", big, huge Canadian guy with a beard and shit. Anyway, I'd been there for like an hour or two, and with my girlfriend at the time, and people are asking me, because they open the whole thing like, "What do you do?" or "Where are you from?" or whatever. And I grew up in Indonesia. My parents were missionaries, and I'm telling them I was in the Marines and I did this tech stuff, and they just kept asking me questions, and I was just sitting around bullshitting, and like about an hour so later, this big dude stands up and he goes, "You know what? You're fucking full of shit, man. Like everything you've said for the last hour is complete bullshit." He's like, "There's no way any of that shit can be true. You're a fucking liar." And to this day, that's my life's greatest compliment. Yep. My greatest compliment in my life is to be called a liar after telling my story. And
Thanks, man.
anyway, so after experiences like that, I'm like, well, fuck, why don't I just write down my life? So, and it took me about 5 years to do it because I started writing it back in 2019, I think. And then I got to the part about my divorce and my kids and stuff like that. And it still hurt so bad. I just couldn't write about it. So, it took me several years then to get up to be able to write about it. But so I just finished it at the beginning of this year. It's called Finally Somehow Home. It's a beast. It's
Nice.
like a fucking Bible.
I like that. The rugged look. That's a
Yeah, it's
nice
like it's been
touch.
on a long journey, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm I gotta get that now. That I damn. Yeah.
Dude, a lot of the shit in there is exactly the kind of stuff we're talking about as far as like becoming elite and like that type. It's not just like, hey, I did this, then I did that. It's like this is what I learned. Most of it is what I've learned from
And I think
all the
there's
shit.
something to be said about reading those stories, man. Like this is something I say all the fucking time. If you're a frequent fan of the show, you hear me say it, I'll say it again. When you tell these stories, man, the stories that are complete, just not highlighting the combat stuff, highlighting the military, the second chapter, the third, the fourth, the fifth. We are going to inspire the next great generation. We are, but only if we write about what we went through, only if we write down the stories of how we got here. If you go back in time and look at your yourself back in those days when you were just a kid dreaming about joining the military, you stumbled across somebody's story. And I would argue that the greatest part of that story that you read, like for myself, reading about Roy Benavides, it wasn't just the fact that he was a Green Beret. It's the fact that he was banged up. He was fucked up and hurt. And he was in a hospital and he fell off the bed every night and he rolled over to a wall and he willed himself to walk again. He'd crawl, push up against the wall and get up and try to force himself to walk. And reading about his upbringing, that shit hooked me. Yes, the military stuff is great. The mission he went on that we all know about these days, those stories are great. But the thing that hooked me was an incredible, resilient individual whose strength I looked up to and admired. And I would never even meet this individual or know him personally, but knowing that a human being could have that capacity to overcome that gave me the idea that, holy shit, maybe someday I could have that. I could grow to be that strong.
Exactly, man.
Exactly. That's what we need. And we need those stories. So you listening at home, this is your challenge. Write the book, write the story of your life. Don't just let it up to be guys like Jason that are willing to say it publicly before they even start writing. Fucking take some ambition, take some inspiration from his story. Go do it. But even better, do me a favor. Pause the episode, go to the episode description, click that fucking link and buy the book. I'm buying my copy as soon as we get off doing this. And spoiler alert, the episode's almost over. You know, I keep these things about an hour. It's no, you're new. You're not new to this. You know how we do it here. Get the book, connect with him on LinkedIn, and do me an additional favor. Reach out, connect with your friends. If you're listening to this, you know the main thing about the show is advocacy and mental health and resource awareness. Transition is a beast. Don't try to do it by yourself. Jason's talked about how many friends he had helped him along the way. I will tell you, if I wouldn't have gone into this entrepreneurial endeavor, I could have probably gotten a pretty good job by just reaching into my network. Another great thing for you to take after this is reach out to your friends. If you're within that 1 year mark, start building your network. Start going on LinkedIn and growing that fucking badass network of individuals who are going to support you because they're out there, man. Old commanders, old teammates, old platoon mates, people you served with in all those different units. Connect with them. Start asking them questions. What jobs are out there? What got you in that position? Start building your resume. Start building your network today, not tomorrow, not after you get out. Well, you're still in. Give yourself a little bit of breathing room, man. These are all things I wish I would have listened to. And hell, maybe I could have been the next great pharmaceutical sales rep, but that's neither here nor there. Jason, I can't thank you enough for being here and for writing this book, man. Again, before I let you go, where can we find these amazing works?
Just go to my website, theperfectfuckinglife.com.
And are you on social media? Where can we find you and stay in touch with you?
I'm on Instagram. It's Swift and Shifty Ninja. It's Swift and Shifty Ninja. And on Facebook, Jason Lee Morrison, and it's an author page. And on LinkedIn, of course, too, Jason Lee Morrison.
There you go, folks. You know what to do. Go to those links and connect. Jason, again, thank you for being here, brother. Thank you for being a friggin' amazing human being. And I can't wait to have you back on to talk about all things drone warfare or your next and greatest book. And to all listening at home, thank you for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. And I can't wait to see you next time. Till then, take care. Security Halt Podcast is proudly sponsored by Titan SARMS. Head to the episode description and check out Titan SARMS today.